made after we got married. When she picked up the lid to take it off the pot to give it a stir, the screw came out of the holder there and fell down in the chili. It was just a little screw, about like that, and everything. And so with that screw, and so dipping my, took a few. Thank God into my body and everything. And she said, I didn't tell you I dropped that fell off when I was picking up the lid. And I said, that's okay, I got it. You know. But I have never told her in my life that anything that she made was bad. I always told her how good it was. And I'm gonna have her cooking in any of the food joints anywhere. There's something about home cooking that just woof. Okay, but an attitude of gratitude. Have that with your spouse. A husband and wife can never say thank you too much to the one who's sharing their lives. It ought to be done at least daily, maybe hourly, maybe by the minute or the second. But it's also a good thing to give thanks to your children. You say, well, Pastor Donnie, I don't have kids yet. Well, start practicing now. Because most of you have pets. And I've seen people that are kinder to their pets than they are to their own kids. I'm not mentioning any names. But most parents are hypocritical or hypercritical of their children rather than being complimentary. Your child paints something at school, writes something at school, what have you. They bring it home, and you find something wrong with it. You didn't stay between the lines when you were coloring this. And so we find ways to criticize. I remember back when I was a kid, in the summer we used to have summer recreation programs at the elementary school. And they would have during the day, they'd have all kind of games set up in the cafeteria and everything. They always had snacks and all of that. And I used to participate in that during the summer. And once a week, they would bring in ceramic things, and we would get to paint those things. And that's where I first started, I guess, my interest in art and all. I still love to draw and all of that. I plan on doing a lot of that after I retire and all, and I have more time. But I remember getting a ceramic thing, and the teachers didn't give you your choice of what you wanted to paint. They just came by and give you the piece of ceramic and everything. I got a cluster of grapes. And so I began to, paint it and everything, and I hated it. I thought, oh man, this is horrible. This is terrible. Everything. Of course, after we got through, then they took it and they put it in the kiln and all this kind of stuff and all. And when we got the finished product, it was like, wow. It changes when they get it, when they get it all fixed up and everything. And I brought it home to my mom and everything, and I said, this looks horrible, but I did it for you, Mama. My mama took that thing because we had put a magnet on the back of it, and she put it up on the refrigerator. And I thought, But she was fresh. She always talked about it, and she would show it to everybody that come in the house. Look what Donnie made me. Look. And after a while, it got to where I was very thankful. And I was like, wow, she really does like that. Now, I never did really personally sit her down and talk to her and ask her, were you really liking that? Or were you just being nice? I never, but it changed. It changed the way I felt about things and all. And I found out that that's the way it ought to be and all. And I've been very blessed with the two children that Donna gave me in our marriage with Jacqueline and Jeremy, with their different talents and everything. I'm in awe. And it's like, thank you, God. And thank them. And say thank you. But this is a serious defect in parenting when you criticize your kids constantly. We need to affirm and applaud our kids for good conduct, for wise choices. Do they still give out conduct grades on their report cards? They do? All right. I know when I was in first grade, I passed the second grade on trial because my first grade teacher said, he is so immature. Look, partner, I had just turned 5 years old when I started first grade. Because we had to pay back then to go to kindergarten. And my parents couldn't afford it. They could have, but I didn't go to kindergarten. I went straight into first grade. And she said, he's very immature. So we're gonna pass him on trial, and I made it because I never failed any of my grades in school. You know, was it a struggle sometimes? Absolutely, because I'm a firm believer that I had ADD before anybody ever knew what that even stood for or what it was even about. And I believe that every kid is somewhat blessed with attention deficit disorder. If you don't believe that, you start talking to some of them. I was blessed with a young girl in our youth group when Donna and I were the youth pastors. And she was in high school. She had got National Honor Society. She went to Bloomingdale High School. And she was incredibly intelligent. And I remember talking to her mom about how gifted she was and everything. See, her mom had 3 girls. This girl was amazingly smart. And she said, Pastor Donnie, this you need to know about. And she called her by name. She is incredibly book smart. But when it comes to common sense, she ain't got sense enough to come in out of the rain. I thought, that's horrible to say about your kid. You know, and who would want to come get out of the rain anyway, especially if it's not thundering and lightning? That's awesome. You know. But be careful what you say about your kids. We need to applaud our children for choosing the good and avoiding the bad. How long's it been since you sincerely offered thanks to your kids for what they mean to you and for what they've done for you? I've always encouraged my kids to get a good job and all of that, you know, and you can say, well, you know, at some point in time, you're going to have somebody to take care of you. Look, I've already discussed it with my wife and everything. When I get too old to be, you know, when I'm senile and all this kind of stuff, put me in a home and just leave me alone. I don't want to be a burden to anybody. I don't want anybody having to do things that they really don't want to do just to try to make me happy. And I feel that way, seriously. But it's also a good thing to give thanks to your friends. Now, how many of you have a BFF? More than likely, that BFF lives in another state, another country, another city. You know, one of the reasons they're your BFF is because they don't really know you now. They just know what you put on here. And I can put on here that I'm Spider-Man, and I'm Superman, and I'm all these things, and I can make it look very real. But I'm still just me. I'm still just me. Give thanks to your friends. It's indeed rich is the person who has a lot of friends. How do you know you got a good friend? There's a lot of different ways to tell. Rich indeed is the person who has even one genuine friend. I know who mine is. I'm married to her. All of us would have more friends if we nourish the relationships we have with others with expressions of thanksgiving. Just say thank you. You know, when you get out there to all of that food and everything, somebody had to fix it. Yeah, I know some of the things that people brought in was probably store-bought. But still, somebody had to fix it, and then somebody had to buy it. So can you not at least be thankful? And you had the nerve to put it on your plate. Be thankful. When I would hear my grandparents praying over food at all of our get-togethers and everything, I would always hear them say, "Bless the hands that prepared it." Bless the hands that prepared it. There's something to be said for that. But then I want to leave you with this. It's a good thing to give thanks to those who serve you in significant ways. Think about this. Have you ever offered thanks to your kids' school teachers? One of the things with politics is teachers' salaries and how much they're paid. To me, they ought to be paid a whole lot more than what they're getting. I have had the, privilege, basically every single year I get contacted by the school systems asking me to be a substitute teacher or what have you. And I've never had the classes to be